All right, Tony Evers wins re-election. This is not a big race call, but it is a race call. Wisconsin governor projected the winner in Wisconsin. Utah Senate, Mike Lee wins in Utah. This was the Evan McMullin challenge from the independent, which was a possibility and many thought would be the third way of a new wave of independent candidates across America. That certainly didn't materialize. Scott Tranter here at the Smart Board. All right, what has changed across America from when we came on the air and we thought that there was this red wave? What has not materialized for Republicans?
Well, let's start on the House side. The Republicans have not won the House seats that they were expected to out east, and they are not looking good in the House seats they were expected to win out west.
Even Sean Patrick Maloney that Chris Steyerwalt was talking about, much closer than you guys thought it would be?
Much closer, but the seats in Virginia, seats in New Hampshire, seats in Ohio, seats in Wisconsin and Iowa, the Republicans needed to pick up some there. We're still sorting through some more stuff.
Didn't happen in New Hampshire.
Yep.
You look at Virginia. Virginia 2, they won. Virginia 7, they did not. Virginia 10, they did not as well.
Correct. Yeah, they needed to win those if they wanted to have a good night.
So what is the voting group? What are the people or the issues that change that they did not appear?
Well, it appears that in a lot of these races, when we dig down to them, and I know not everyone's from these candidates do matter. They have interesting angles to them. Sometimes it's suburban mothers voting on certain issues. Sometimes it's tax and spend property owners out in Nebraska, Montana, Idaho, those types of areas. It's different for each race. That's why we saw some splits, even in the Virginia ones. The candidates are looking to matter, and that's kind of why we're looking at Pennsylvania and Georgia. I know we called Pennsylvania for Fetterman. That's one where the candidate mattered. It looks like in Georgia, where Governor Kemp won.
So we understand Kemp 53.5. Herschel Walker at 48.6. So
correct.
5 points. I'm not a math whiz, but we've been doing it in my head.
Let's talk about that for a second. That means there were some Republican voters in Georgia who said, I want a Republican governor, Kemp, but I am not sure that I also want a Republican Senator, Herschel Walker. That's what they're saying here.
Is this the difference between MAGA with the crazy and MAGA without the crazy?
That's certainly what it looks like. That's certainly what it looks like. And here's what we're trying to figure out is, does that carry over to Arizona? Does that carry over to Nevada?
So we look over at Arizona, Mark Kelly versus Blake Masters. This is way, way different than what we saw in the polling originally.
Correct.
How much of that is where the vote's coming from?
100% of it's where the vote's coming from. We need to see quite a bit more out of Arizona, and that's going to get incredibly close as Arizona gets through it. You know, it's what, 12:30 Central Time here. It's still 10:30 out there. They're going to be counting for quite a while.
It's already 1 a.m.
1 a.m. See, I'm behind on the caffeine, but yeah.
All right, and obviously Katie Hobbs is sort of mirroring that with Kari Lake as well.
Exactly.
So we were talking about calling the House at 9 o'clock Eastern.
We were. We haven't called the House. We're not anywhere close to calling the House.
So it's very possible we walk out of tonight with Democratic control of the Senate and Democratic control of the House.
It's possible, yeah.
And that is why we have elections.
Yes.
Get a little more caffeine. Yep. Long night for you and the crew. We'll be right back. Go ahead and grab yourself a drink. Put another log on the fire. We'll keep working the numbers.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to NewsNationNow.com, NewsNationNow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.